the Sly Guy.
Hello and welcome to the SLY GUY Podcast with me, Dave Elliott. We are here once again in the studio because we have not been evicted. We've come in, we've squatted, we've said to the landlord, fuck you, we're staying in exchange for money, and we're here once again. How are we all doing? Hope everybody is... I don't know, I feel always every week when I say hope everyone's good, I know most people go, fuck's sake, Dave, you should know by now, we're not good. We're in the middle of a really shit time, and anytime you say, I hope you're good, it just reminds us how shit a time we're in. But you know what? It's just a figure of speech. I don't care if you're good or not. Welcome to the podcast. And I'm a wee bit distant today. I'm thinking about other things. My mind are on other places, and that place is on the United States presidential election. I mean, what would I rather be doing? Sitting here recording the podcast, or sitting at home just watching BBC News, refresh to see what's going on in the country that I can give a fuck about, and see what's happening in a political system that doesn't give a fuck about me. Hey, there we are. All I know, again, Ben, you're a bit more into politics than me. You have to keep me straight here. I may say a few things that might, be incorrect. So if you know any facts, jump in there and let me know. First and foremost, we've got Donald Trump, the President of the United States, probably the best cast member of The Apprentice that there's been. Maybe Sugar's close, but then maybe Trump second, maybe Arnold third, who knows. He's there, he's the president, he's the guy. He's the man that makes it happen. Whatever it is, I don't know, because I'm not a US politics guy. Then there's Joe Biden, the founding father of the United States, the man that's been in politics since 1902, and he's desperate to get that golden ticket. He just wants to be the president just before he dies, which inevitably will probably be in office, but he wants it. He wants to hold the chalice. He wants to milk it. He wants to say, I finally done it, daddy, and that's what he wants. But that's exciting, and people are losing their shit about it, I feel that's a theme that's going on a lot of platforms these days, are people having opinions on things they know nothing about. And I think I'm just going to wade into it. That's what we're all about here, the US political system. I know nothing. I'm just going to say who would I vote for out of the two. I don't know their policies. All I know, Trump wants to make the rich richer, so hey, that benefits me. And Biden, the old guy, wants to get in and just rat-a-tat-tat in the Middle East once again. So, I mean, it's what do you want? Do you want all that cash, or do you want, again, that may or may, is that true? Is that what their policies are? I'm pretty sure I saw a video of Biden doing that. Rat-a-tat-tat, I think he said. And again, which is weird, he went to Bin Laden, who's, as far as I'm aware, dead already. So, I mean, that could just be his old dementia brain going, I'm coming for you. And then Trump just doesn't like anybody other than white, Anglo, Saxon Protestants, which, I mean, although I'm a feminist, I am, but I mean, it's an exciting time. Are you going to stay up and watch the results come in like a fucking nerd, Ben, or are you going to maybe sleep or do something else that may be more enjoyable than that? And now a lot of people will be like, oh my god, Dave, you're so ignorant, how can you not see the ramifications? I'm just happy with what we've got. I'm happy with Arlene. I'm happy with Michelle. Just two feminists just killing it. Just two guys running the country with esteem. They do their own thing. They do whatever they want. They just take money from people left, right and centre and just own it. And that's what it's all about. And I think, maybe the US should take a little bit of a lead from here, and maybe just look at the way things are crashing all around them, and just say, you know what, let's go fucking holidays for 3 years. It'll figure itself out. that's what it's about, and here we are. And I hope that whichever delusional old guy wins the elections, dead on to us. I hope they don't come over here, and I hope Trump doesn't be like, you know what, if Biden wanted to rat-a-tat-tat the Middle East, hopefully Trump's not like, I'm going to rat-a-tat-tat Belfast and the surrounding areas, because that would definitely disturb my day. But other than that, yeah, I think I can give a fuck about it. I think there's more important things to worry about at the moment. Like COVID. Ben, have you done a COVID test yet?
Nope.
And you're supposed to do one every single week before you come to the podcast, because you're putting me at risk. The UK and Ireland's #1 most popular podcaster, apparently, according to a source that I saw online last week, which was my Twitter account. But apparently So next week, definitely wear a mask. Should have probably worn a mask this week because we're still celebrating Halloween, which is, something I think is not what they do. You have like a week long Halloween celebration and like just go around and steal sweets off kids. Do you do much of that?
No stealing, no, just we disco with the kids.
Ben does have kids. I just want to point out, he wasn't just going to a disco with kids, because then that would be problematic for me, certainly as a guy that I guess employs you to come and help me out. If it comes out that you're just going to kids discos without any affiliation to kids, weird, bit strange. And what sort of things do you do at this kids disco? Do you dress up?
Yeah, just in the living room. Wasn't that like fancy?
Of your own house?
Yep.
Okay, because again, that could mean something else. It could just be another child's living room. Ben could have effectively become a housebreaker, breaking and entering into the house. And with what were you dressed as? Mario, the plumber.
Yep.
I mean, it's getting more pornographic, isn't he? Turns up to some child's house dressed as a plumber. And did you offer to fix any pipes when you were there? Or?
No.
And who else was at the party?
My wife and 2 kids.
And what were they dressed as? Please tell me Luigi, a toadstool and a princess.
My son was Luigi.
Very nice.
Daughter was Cinderella, and my wife was Witch.
A what?
A witch.
Oh, no dressing up needed there. Boom. He said that off air, not me. Sorry, my mistake. But yeah, it was a weird Halloween. I again, one of these the times people are like, oh, it's Halloween, let's get excited, and it's COVID. I was like, because of damn COVID, I couldn't do. Never have I done anything Halloweeny ever other than just eat loads of food and watch TV. I hate the fact that kids come to my door and I'm expected as an adult to give them sweets. I still in my head think I am a big child, so whenever kids come to the house, I begrudge giving them treats. The only treats I have the last couple of Halloweens have been my own private collection of sweets that I've had to just be like, oh, are you serious? Take my sweets, take my Maltesers, and then I have no Maltesers, so I have to eat fucking bananas. So then I had a brainwave. I was like, you know what? I will offer the kids the stuff that I don't want. So like last year, when the kids were coming to the door, they were like trick or treat or whatever, or the goose is getting fat, which is a weird thing. And they'd be like, what do you have? And I'd just be giving them like bits of cut up carrot, coleslaw, old potatoes that I wasn't eating anymore, and gravy granules, which, again, that last year a lot of kids were ungrateful for. This year, in a time of global pandemic and possible, I guess post-apocalyptic worlds they're very believable in the future, the kids nowadays would be very grateful. Should have given them toilet roll really and pasta. Again, I want to ask a lot of people out there who did stock toilet rolls, how's that worked out for you? Like, it's a weird thing to do. Did you hoard anything at the start of this, or did you?
We went to Linus with a bag of pasta.
And how big are we talking?
Like a decent size.
Like decent. Like I was expecting you to just like be saying like, I mean like a fucking bag, like a bag of pasta, just one bag, one medium sized bag of pasta. And then did you come home, put it in your cupboard, and be like, I'll do us, if we're locked down, sorted.
And we didn't open it for ages.
And have you got through it yet?
Just about.
Nice. I got a big bulk order in today actually in the house. I ordered raisins and nuts, 3 kilograms worth, in a big fucking bag. And Catherine, my wife, right, genuinely looked at me and was like, you're not going to eat them at once? I was like, it's fucking 3 kilograms. Like, I know I'm a greedy bastard, but I mean, what am I going to do? Like, it's like this size of bag of fucking nuts and raisins with yogurt on them, because I'm on a diet at the minute, but I've got a sweet tooth, so I want a wee bit of something from time to time, rather than just eating Malteser truffles, which cost £8 a box, may I add. So, I just thought I'd do that. So she genuinely thought I was just going to sit my big fat arse in front of the US elections eating 3 kilograms worth of sweets. And I'm not going to do it, but out of spite, there is a chance that she may do something to annoy me and I may have to eat 3 kilograms worth of nuts and raisins covered in yogurt. But, I don't know how it's going to pan out. Again, good present for Halloween people, if I had those before, now, but I didn't. I'm selfish, so the kids got the carrots, the kids got the coleslaw. And again, I say they got the coleslaw because of COVID, where they're not coming to the door. Like in my street, I have a very... need to watch what I say about my street. I have a very, I guess, I want to say kind street. The people in my street are very kind. They're very open to ideas to make living in our street more enjoyable. Now, what I find about living in a street is you live in a house on a street. You don't live in the street. Your neighbours are your neighbours, they're not your friends. If anything, they're your enemies. You're competing against them every day to be better than them. But my neighbours want to do stuff every time. Like Christmas comes, Halloween comes, whenever lockdown happened, there's a group WhatsApp. Now, I may add, I get the information in the group WhatsApp by proxy from my wife, because she said, do you want to be in a group WhatsApp with your street? And I very quickly went, fucking no, I don't. You can keep that yourself. I don't want to know what my street are up to. I don't know what the guys in my street are up to. No interest. So came along to Halloween, started lockdown, sorry. Everyone was like, what can we do to try and make this better? So everyone was like, let's set up like little libraries at the end of our driveway so the kids can, go and swap books or whatever. That's all good. Maybe have a wee jumble sale at someone's house. I'm thinking that's kind of, no offense, a bit gay, to do all that. I'm not interested in that. Someone should have said to me, right, what I've done, I've got a 6x4 piece of plywood, I've cut a hole in it, I'm doing a glory hole. That's what I'd be interested in. If you're like, that would make the street a bit more spicy. That would be my suggestion. Probably why I'm not on the WhatsApp, but that would be my suggestion. So anyway, I digress. Back to the point. Halloween came. People were like, right, we can't be knocking on doors because of the spread of virus, but we also can't keep our kids locked down and have them not enjoying what is a wonderful time of year. The Halloween period, the trick-or-treating, the fat goose hunting, whatever it is they're doing. So the kids are coming to the driveway. It was decided that people would put a bowl at the end of their driveway of sweets for the kids. So again, I don't trust that, because I know if it was me, an opportunist as a kid, I would have just lifted the whole bowl, put it in my bag, and I'd have just done a full racky around the street and left with a big Santa sack full of sweets. Which, to be fair, I would have tried eating them the one night. So, the 3 kilogram bag of nuts and raisins, don't know. So they all decided to do that. My wife was really embarrassed that we hadn't done that. She was really keen to do it. So what I did, again, thinking about the carrots and the coleslaw, was I just brought my green bin to the front of the house, opened it up and just said, fill your boots, lads. So kids coming around, scoop it into my green bin, just basically fucking all my slops in the bag. It was great. And then you none the wiser, and it was a really good time. I enjoyed looking out into the street. Again, this is the weird thing I've only found out too, because of the group WhatsApp, that if you're in your house and you have a light on and the windows or curtains are open, people can see you. So I was just standing there naked, looking out into the street, and people were like, that's a problem, Dave, you can put clothes on. And I said, in the sanctity of my own house, I'll do as I please. But that's what I got up to over Halloween this year. And to be fair, I did enjoy it. It was pretty good. Are you normally a Halloween guy? No? Would this be something you're coming around to? Am I right in saying last year when we were doing Boytown, we spoke about Halloween, you're like, I just don't do it?
I just can't be bothered
with it at all?
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, it's definitely just something to do, isn't it? I think people are like, is it tied into, like, what's the reason, but what was the original Halloween? Can you Google it there and say, like, the origins of Halloween? Because does it have something to do with the harvest? And then how did you go from, like, the harvest to being like loads of dead people are coming back? It's a weird, it's a weird flip, that.
It dates back to the ancient Celtic festivals.
Oh, so the boys, BHOYS, are just loving it.
Celts who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in Ireland, the UK and France, celebrated their new year on the 1st of November.
Oh, so it's a New Year celebration?
Yep.
Why do they wear rubber faces? That's what I don't know. Weird. Like, if you're going to wear a rubber mask, do it at the weekend. Don't do it, do it regularly. Do it at a sojourn. Don't be doing it.
Trick-or-treating. Yeah,
trick-or-treating. This is good.
It's on All Souls Day in England. People would give out pastries in exchange for prayers for their dead relatives.
That's definitely a lot more grim. So, like, basically, are you trying to... So let me get this straight, right? In the olden days, they went round to the house and, like, just knocked someone's door. And then the person at the door would have given out, like, I don't know, a fry bentos to somebody, and then they would have just gone, I pray for you. Hey, so they'd knock a door and be like, what have you got for me, mate? And they'd be like, oh, I've just got this steak and onion pie. Cheers. Got any dead relatives, bro? And he's like, well, my granny's died. Nice one. Here, kiss your hand. And takes a hand. Rub-a-dub-dub. 3 men in a tub. Rest in peace, bro. And on you go. That was it.
Pretty much, by the sounds of it.
I love it.
Your masks and costumes. Ancient Celts would wear masks to avoid being recognised by ghosts.
By ghosts?
Yep.
I mean, definitely wearing a big mask wouldn't draw attention to yourself. You'd be like, why here? Excuse me, why is that James walking down the street there wearing like it looks like a white pillowcase over his face? Is that what's he up to? Is he dressed? Oh, he's in the clan. Oh, my mistake. Sorry, James. I swear play to you. So weird that this all starts. And again, every single culture has something that is a tradition that if you actually went back to the start of it and looked back on now, go, that's very, very weird. Like, I mean, what happens is if you see somebody wearing a face mask and you stop them in the street, obviously before these times, and they're walking about, say they're wearing like a SpongeBob SquarePants mask, right? You're just walking down the street, you see your neighbour wearing a SpongeBob SquarePants mask, and you stop and you go, is that you? Is that James? I'll use the name James again, stuck my James, is that you? Yeah. Are you alright? Yeah, what do you mean? It's like, you're wearing a SpongeBob SquarePants mask, just, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just going to get milk. What? But why have you got the mask on? Oh, it's just because if it didn't have the mask on, ghosts might recognise my coupon and, one thing might lead to the other and, who knows what could happen. And you're like, aye, Jamesy, good luck to you. And as soon as he turns his back, you're like, I know one thing that's going to happen. Muckamore Abbey's getting you impatient. And as Jamesy's walking down the street with a SpongeBob mask on, trying to hide from ghosts. It's very, very weird. But back in those days, people just, people didn't butt into other people's business. So they let them just do whatever they wanted. People would just be going out living their best lives. You know what I mean?
Equally knocking on someone's door for pasty.
Yeah.
Offering a return.
I know, that's very chancery, isn't it? They just turn up at someone's door and go, excuse me, can I have a pasty? Like, I would do it, you wouldn't mind making us a pasty. Oh, yeah, certainly, but what am I going to get in return? A prayer? A prayer? For who? Dead family? Your dead family? And you're like, okay, my Mary meant a lot to me. I mean, go ahead. It's very, very odd. It's a very odd bartering tool. Again, I would be like, can I have a pasty? And I'd be like, yeah, well, what am I getting for it? And I'd be like, I'll give you a tenner. I mean, that's a dear pasty. I'll buy several pasties off you and give you a tenner. You give me 5 pasties, I'll give you a tenner. What about that? £2 a pasty. That's a fair deal. Like, that's business. But back in the day, maybe when that all started, there was no money. And people just, had to swap things. I like the way, like to do that in prison. Again, normally what's exchange. I watched the show The World's Toughest Prisons with Raphael Rowe. Good show, would recommend. And on that, like, people do build wee things in prison to offer for money. So, like, things made out of soap. Ultimately, they are blades to murder other people, but they are, they make these wee things in arts and crafts. Like, what did you make today in arts and crafts? Alessandro, I was like, I basically made just this full machete just out of my earwax that have built up over the years. Oh, very nice, very creative. And what have you made? Oh, I've just made these knuckle dusters just out of, bits of fluff from under my toenails. I just fucking batter people. And what do you then do, Gary, for exchanges in prison? And what do you use for money? Oh, my arsehole. What? Yeah, I just let people have a bum at me, and then I get stuff. So again, this is another thing they're talking about in prison. This dude was really rich. They were like, "You're really rich. What privileges do you get being rich in prison?" He was like, "Just baked beans. I get baked beans when I want, get my clothes washed." And they're like, "And you're the equivalent of a millionaire in prison." He's like, "Yeah, living my best life. Get clean water, get my clothes washed, get baked beans. Holler at your boy." That was what it was like, but. Yeah, it's bizarre. I'm feeling very, very, very interested. Maybe on another day, if we weren't actually just in the middle of recording a podcast, I'd probably just get up loads of like classic original traditions and where they form, because I'm interested about that. Maybe do that at Christmas, because I know a few Christmas traditions that are pretty weird. One in particular, have you ever heard of the woman gorilla? Have I told you this on Boytown before?
I think so.
In different countries, there's different things. Like, so here, obviously, we have Santa, and like, what's the issue? So say you're a good boy all year, what do you get from Santa? Presents. If you're a bad boy, what does Santa leave in your house?
Cool.
Correct. Which in today's day and age is a fossil fuel. You store that away. Whenever lockdown escalates even further in a year or two, and you literally need it to survive, you'll be, being a bad boy will pay off. Maybe that's why they say women love bad boys, because they know they've got that energy. They're just gonna be like, why do you love a bad boy? Because he's got a full coal shed. That's what I'm saying. But in different countries, everything's always about trying to coerce your children into behaving. That's what I figured out about Christmas. Every story's like, look, basically this will happen if you're bad, and you get prizes if you're good. If you're bad boy, Santa will give you coal. if you're a good boy, lots of presents. Did you ever get any coal from Santa? I once got coal from Santa, albeit it lost its effect because the coal from Santa came inside a garage on Tracy Island of the Thunderbirds. So I got coal, but it was in the garage where Thunderbird 2 should have been, but Thunderbird 2 was on top of the landing pad on top of the swimming pool at that point, so it was fine. I just took a call. I said, fuck, I'll put some Thunderbird 2 in. But that was, I think Santa tried to make a point. You know, Santa was kind of just like a really weak husband. You know, he's like, he tries to make a point, but his wife's just like, I fuck way off. You know, I'll do it anyway. You know, spend the money, who cares? So that happened, I got cool. But in other parts of the world, they have like just different tales. I'll tell you some of them real quickly. There was one in somewhere in those guys in Scandinavia, I can't remember exactly, called Krampus. Have you heard of him? Krampus is basically, I want to say he's in Norway or Denmark. No, yes, he is in Norway, I think. Krampus, but Krampus is like a sidekick of Santa. So like, Krampus would come out with Santa. Santa would give you presents, but if you're a bad boy or girl, Krampus would scare you and beat you with sticks. So like, they're like, right, okay, listen, you've been good, Santa will give you some goods. You know, more I think about it, Santa may or may not have been in the mafia. You know, you may be good to me, I give you some presents. If you're bad, my heavy gonna beat the shit out of you with sticks. And again, I sort of think sticks. Like, why sticks? To me, I don't think Krampus thought his weapon through. Like, I bet he had a real fucking sweet stick that Santa had built him. And then he was like, right, you can come with me the first time, see how it works with the kids. We'll trial it, Krampus. All right, Krampus like dead on. He brings him up and he's like, did you bring your stick, Krampus? And he's like, I bollocks, I fucking did it. It's here somewhere. And he goes, you need something to beat these kids with. And he just fucking goes, right, gotcha, like a broom, whoops the kids. That was Krampus. That was kind of a bit, you know, a little bit scary. And then sort of on a level up from that, in Iceland, there was a woman called Grilla, right? And Grilla basically, you know, he sounds like it's this little woman. You're like, that's not too scary. Grilla lives in the mountains with this dog called the Yule dog or something. I know, fuck, stupid. But the crux is Grilla gets hungry around Christmas and eats kids. So she comes down from the mountains, and if you're fucking about, you're not getting beaten with sticks, you're getting eaten. You know, like properly eaten, put in a stew. Basically, in Iceland, they're like, if you're a bad kid, you get murdered by woman and eaten by cannibal. You know, that's what happens if your kids are lying there in the bed going, oh, please, I've been good all year. And then, like, I bet you there's the odd dad that would, like, put a wee fucking bonnet on and look into the shadows and be like, I'm going to eat you. And then the kids are having a fucking worst day of their life. Mum and dad just laughing their balls off behind the door. That'd be great. And I'm a favourite. I think the guy's name is Johnny. You could fact check me this. This is a character in South Africa. In fact, I maybe need to do it myself. I feel like it's like Johnny, but the gist of it is Johnny is can you checking this? Try South African Christmas folklore about a and type in like granny and cookies as well, because I think basically what had happened, his granny was really stressed. Obviously she had some underlying mental health issues which weren't diagnosed at this particular point, and she had spent all day baking cookies for Santa Claus, yeah? So she booked these cookies for Santa Claus and then set them out, right? And then Johnny ate the cookies that she had spent time making for Santa Claus. And the granny, obviously with her underlying health conditions and problems, rather than being like, oh, Johnny, you wee bastard, I need to, you know, she basically went in their kitchen, got a hammer and beat Johnny to death. So that's a fact, what they say happened in South Africa. And the tale of Johnny, I think, is that he then comes back as a ghost to warn any kids that are going to eat Santa's food. And they'll be like, I would not do that if I were you, because you may get beaten to death by your granny. And did you find that? Something about it? Or have you know, guys, listen, this is going to be great content in the podcast, but I'm going to go on here and I'm going to find what this is. Christmas... South Africa. What did you type in?
South African Christmas folklore, Johnny.
South Africa Christmas killed granny cookies. Let me see. Oh no. What I found for that was, fun time in South Africa. Grandmother 71 dies of shock as she's forced to watch her 3 grandkids held at gunpoint. Next story, man's hacked to pieces in front of partner in South African robbery. SLY. Let me see. South Africa, Christmas, South Africa, cookie. And is it folklore? Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Cookie, folklore. I mean, if I've just made this up, I mean, yes, African Christmas traditions, and that would be it, wouldn't it? African Christmas traditions, Johnny. African Christmas. I'll try Christmas traditions. Africa. It's specifically South Africa. I'm pretty sure. South Africa, Johnny. I just made it up, it seems. I mean, I'm entirely sure that this is, I'm pretty sure. I'll have a wee look nosy in the computer here. Hold on. I'll just type Krampus in because I know I wrote stand up about this, so it should be in there somewhere. Christmas, there we are. Sorry, I've made an error. It's not Johnny, it's Danny. All right, so let me go and see this. Christmas tradition, South Africa, Danny. Here, listen, have we got it? Yeah, we have it. Yes, it is true. Sorry, I got the name wrong. It's Danny, obviously. Let's have a look there, and I'll read this exact story. Also, by the way, they just eat KFC in Japan. Pretty weird. Those guys are always up to strange things. Where is it? 777. And also, they love pooing as well in Barcelona, which is pretty sweet. Where is that? That was a great... I'm delighted with myself here, so let me see. In South Africa, Christmas is horrifying. That's what I wanted. The ghost of Danny. In South Africa, Christmas is horrifying. Why do you ask? There's a legend that describes a boy named Danny who, upon seeing a large, lovely plate of cookies that his grandmother baked, couldn't resist his urge to eat them. And what did Grandma do? Killed him brutally with a hammer, and now Danny's spirit haunts homes at Christmas. Long story short, don't eat your granny's cookies. Alright, so there you go. Fact proven. I'm just, oh no, I've just broken my phone. I'm an Alex Jones guy. I sound weird, I sound mental, but I'm always right. There we go. Speaking of always right, you guys are the guys that need to fucking write reviews to this podcast. And please rate and review it on Apple Podcasts. Again, the support to the podcast since we've switched over to basically, I don't want this guy's head to get big, but since Ben's come on board and we've switched the video, put your arms down. The listens have been going up every week. People are checking out the video. People are reviewing the podcast, and I appreciate that. So if you can take the time, if you haven't already, get over to Apple Podcasts, rate and review, 5 stars. Let the most underrated podcast in the country rise up the charts. Get behind it, and let's see where we can go. Failing that, just share it in your stories, put it on Instagram, whatever. If you're listening, let people know, share it about. That would all be helpful. And then if you're really, really interested and you want to see, me and Ben naked in a pit full of snakes and oil, you can go over to Patreon and check out, just type in SLY GUY Podcast on Patreon. You can put it with Dave Elliott too, because that's my name, and you'll find it there. But basically, on Patreon, we do a lot of weird things. We put stuff out there. We just, Ben, what was your latest suggestion for Patreon? Or are we going to hire people with maimed fingers to do thumb wars? And I mean, I'm interested in that. I'd be keen to check that out. But what you do genuinely get on Patreon as it stands is an early release of the podcast. You get one extra podcast a week, and not just an extra podcast, an extra Sly podcast. I'm a little bitch. I bitch about people. I bitch about my friends, my family. I bitch about local celebrities or just general celebrities, other comedians. I dish dirty laundry of all the other acts that I know on that extra Sly podcast. You want to know some more about that? Get over there. As well as that, I've got some tasters from some projects that I've done. I've got some stand-up clips, other bits and bobs. So you get early release of the Sly Guy podcast and loads of other shit. So I mean, there you go. For all less than a $5, get over there. Sly Guy Podcast on Patreon. It's a great place. We're basically trying to push our manifesto forward. I know it's US election. I don't know anything about that, but we're pushing our manifesto. Again, if people on Facebook who know nothing about coronavirus can put their agenda out there and say whatever they want, hey, I can say whatever I want on my Patreon. You know what I mean? It's good to go. And guess what? Do you know, Ben?
No.
Guess what? Have a guess. Shut up. The fact of the matter is we have a new sponsor on the podcast. Very exciting news to finally get a new sponsor on the podcast. Again, we've got Old Faithful Modest. We have Manscaped. But we have a new sponsor on the podcast. A sponsor that I can highly recommend. And that new sponsor is Bebe, Adrianos, Mexicanos. A bit of a tongue twister, but I like it. And we're speaking on the podcast a few weeks back. Somebody asked me a question about another well-known burrito brand, and I had to step in and I say, listen, I do not mess with that well-known burrito brand. You know why? Because I don't like it. Try and say a well-known burrito brand quickly yourself. It's difficult. But what I did say on the podcast was I like Bebe Adrianos, and I stand by that. Bebe Adrianos has won awards. It's one of the best Mexican restaurant in Northern Ireland. But a year ago, I don't know who won it last year because I haven't done my research, but they won it 2 years ago, and they're back in the running for it this year, and that's because they've got my backing. Because I mean, you know me, Ben. I'm pretty surly. I'm hard to win over. I'm bitter, but I do recommend this place. It's in Bangor, the Kingdom in North Down, my hometown. So it's 20-minute drive if you're a Belfastard. Get yourself in the car, get down, get the Bebe Adrianos, get a burrito bowl, get a fajita, get whatever you want. If they serve it, obviously, if they don't, you're not going to get it. But it is a great, great place that provides quality food using only the freshest, locally sourced ingredients. Everything is prepared from scratch on the premises with burritos, fajitas, salad bowls, and special box meals. These babies right here, which are all actually, as well as being delicious, pretty healthy. So if you're a physique guy like me, you want to look after yourself, there are options available. And again, not just the best Mexican, they won awards for that as well. What else do you want? If you haven't already tried Bebe Adrianos, what are you waiting for? They've got their own bespoke app on any app store. You can get it on your Android, you can get it on Apple, and whenever you get the app, you get 10% off your first order. Or if you want to be like me, personable, you want to pick up the phone, you want to say, Bebe, I'm ready for you to come by my house, deliver me that meat package for me to put in my mouth. Pick up the phone and dial 02891 47 99 88, and you will not regret it. And if you do, I don't want to know, because I have no interest in people that don't appreciate good food. Look at me, I didn't get to this physique without eating the best. You know what I mean? And SLY Guy Podcast is also brought to you in association with Manscaped, who are the best below the belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess, which is weird, but they do, over their technology developments to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience. Guys, listen, it's autumn. The trees are dying. The leaves are falling from the trees. They're gathering on the ground, and kids are coming and playing with the leaves. And that could be your pubes. Not that the kids would play with them, but you could, like the tree, you could shed your leaves, except they're not leaves, they're pubic hair. You could shave your pubes, drop it all on the floor. You could play with it if you want, but definitely don't do it with kids, because that is really weird. And that's what you can do, Lawnmower 3.0. It's new, it's improved, it's the greatest ball hair trimmer ever made. Suck my dick, Da Vinci, because this is better than any invention you made, and you're dead and you couldn't even make a helicopter. But anyway, Manscaped's third generation trimmer features cutting edge ceramic blade, which reduces manscaping accidents thanks to the Manscaped advanced skin safe technology. People often say, does it come with bells and whistles? No, it doesn't come with bells and whistles. It comes with a long lasting battery, an LED light, and a charging stand. Boom! What else do you want other than a charging stand that can present a tool that lets people know you shave your dick and balls, or vagina if you're a woman, because again, it is called Manscaped. It is directed more towards men, but if you've got a fanny as well, you can shave that muff. You can do whatever you want, all right? Live your best life. Is it waterproof? A lot of people say, Ben, is it waterproof? Yes, it's waterproof, so you can shave your balls when you're at the swimming baths on a Sunday whenever coronavirus restrictions are lifted. Get the bubbles on in the hot tub, shave your balls, yeepaw! That is what we want. And you can get 20% off and free shipping if you use the code SLYGUY. Ben, what's that code? SLYGUY. All capitals at manscaped.com. It's 20% off and free shipping when you use the code Manscaped, or when you use the code SLYGUY at manscaped.com. Jeepers, I lost the run on myself there, like I was wearing a SpongeBob SquarePants hat walking to buy milk in the shop. Shit. But hey, guess what? Ben, have another tool. Are you a hairy man?
Sorry.
Do you have nose hairs?
Yeah.
Guess what? Weed whacker, bro. That's actually really tickly. You can get that too. You don't have to cut your nose hairs. Again, I'm an old guy and my hair's starting to grow on my ears. My hair's starting to grow up my nose. I got the weed whacker and now I have no hair in my nose anymore. I'm winning at life. It's great to be me right now with no nose hair, no ear hair. And also, you know, if you really wanted, what you could do, this baby here is so precise. You could just get the Lawnmower 3.0, trim your beard right down really, 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 really tight, and then just do art with this. And you could almost have like a beard like Prince, you know, really, really thin. You could sort of whisper it around. You'd look really rare, but I mean, you could definitely do that if you wanted. So if you want 20% off and free shipping, go to manscaped.com and use the code SLYGUY, all capitals. And last but never least, the Sly Guy podcast is brought to you in association with Modest Beer, the beer of the Sly Guy podcast. Modest are an independent craft brewing company here in Hollywood, and they make delicious beers, and they're adding that to the already existing craft beer market. They don't want to take over, they just want to add with what I think is the best craft beer on the market. If you're keen to know more, contact Modest Beer via Instagram, Facebook or Twitter at Modest Beer, or go to their website, Ben, which is www.modestbeer.co.uk, not com. Fuck's sake, Ben, it's co.uk. Fucking hell. But I mean, you know what, if you're an ultimate fan of this podcast, you know what you should do? Go on Patreon. First of all, subscribe for $5. Watch the footage of me drinking Modest Beer, shaving my balls, and eating Mexican food. That's what it's all about. And you could do that too. We'll actually maybe do a live podcast, should we? Get a live podcast on the go someday. I'll drink some Modest, I'll eat some Mexican, and I'll shave my pubes and we can all chat. How about that? And again, if Trump wins the election, you know, let's get him on board to sponsor it too, you know, Trump 2020. I should say, but also respect to Biden too, you know, because they're both old guys. Respect. Ben, how long have I been talking shit here for?
About 35 minutes.
35 minutes. Fuck that, guys. That's the end of the no, only joking. We have some listeners' questions, and by some, you guys have come through again. Lots and lots of listeners' questions. Let's get through them. But before I start, actually, have you noticed, is my tongue catching? Like, is it making a weird, like a little sort of noise? Is it?
No.
I feel like my tongue is catching on my teeth. I went to the hygienist today. Have you ever been?
No.
To a hygienist? Well, do you know what a hygienist is, Ben? First of all?
Not really. It's like similar to a dentist.
Yeah, well, this is what I thought. I thought a hygienist was a dentist. I thought dentists were hygienists. I thought, you know, hey, you're a dentist, you may as well be able to clean the gnashers too. No, a hygienist is a separate role. Apparently, a hygienist looks after your gums and not your teeth. So I had a bit of an injury a few weeks ago. I think, did I even speak about it in the podcast where I broke a tooth in the middle of COVID? Real shit. Had to go in, get his tooth out. Long story short, my dentist, who had been dentisting on me since I was a young boy, has left, and now he's been replaced with this lady who is fucking sly. She is so sly to me. And first of all, I went in not knowing her, trying to just be friends. You know, I was like, listen, I had great banter with this guy. My dentist has been my dentist from when I was 4 years old. You know, he did everything, looked after my teeth. He probably groomed me a bit, but he also made sure I had great teeth. Well, so he said. Turns out what my teeth were a fucking sham. My teeth were like an old man. There's a wee bit of interesting DIY doing an extension in his own house. He shouldn't have done it. He's fucked the house. My dentist fucked my teeth. This new lady comes in, basically tells me I have the worst teeth in the world. She's like, yeah, you know why you've got like a little bit of broken tooth? And I went, yeah, I do. He goes, I was told before by my old dentist that would just stay in there. She's like, nah, it's got to come out. That could get infected. Your whole brain could become infected. And then I said, maybe that makes a lot of sense. Maybe I'm already infected. Maybe that's why I talk so much shit. Maybe that's my get out of jail clause. If ever anyone says, you said something in the podcast, I'll be like, I've got a brain infection, my friend. You should be proud of me that I'm even out doing the podcast in the first place. But he said, yeah, that's got to come out. And then I thought, right, okay, fair enough for that. She booked me in for an appointment. Before she booked me in for the appointment, she's like, you got to go and see the hygienist. In my head, I'm thinking the hygienist is just going to, like, you know, spray minty water in my teeth to just make them pretty shiny, ready for the dentist to take a tooth out. Nah, not the case. Before that happened, broke another tooth, had to go in, she had a fucking stick filling in there. Went to the hygienist today. The hygienist, basically, in a nutshell, Ben, took a sharp piece of metal and just scratched all my teeth. And she was like, yeah, basically what it is, you get some like plaque in your teeth or something, and then you just have to scratch that off. Because she's like, and I must admit, I do clean my teeth twice a day. every day without fail. She criticised me, 34-year-old guy, the hygienist, like, maybe you're not cleaning your teeth right. And I have a 2-year-old and I clean her teeth. So this hygienist was like, no, basically you need to get on the gums, on the teeth and blah, 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 and really go at it. So I was like, okay, do what you need to do. So she got this nail, basically, it was like a nail. She got a fucking nail, right? She picked up a nail and just scratched everything around my teeth. So all I could take, it was like I was sucking on pennies because she just cut all around all my teeth and my mouth just full of blood. I looked like I had my fuck kicked in. She gave me a mirror and was like, look, how patronising is this? She gave me a mirror and she goes, this is how you need to clean your teeth. And literally was scrubbing my teeth on the gum line while I held a mirror while my mouth was just pissing blood. It was like I was coughing up blood from a bloody inside. This hygienist just torturing me. And to make matters worse, she was like, yeah, you owe me 60 quid for the pleasure. And now I know a lot of guys out there do pay for pain to be inflicted in them and they get some sort of pleasure out of that. But I will let you know I did not have any sort of erection, semi or otherwise. What I did have was really, really sweaty shins. And I've never had sweaty shins before. I just remember sitting there being like, my shins are really sweaty here. This is so sore. I'm sweating at my shins and don't sweat at my shins. Sweat was running down my face. Blood was just pulsating out of my mouth. And it just wasn't a good experience. And you know what makes matters worse, Ben? In 2 days, I was going to the fucking dentist to the remnants of my tooth taken out. So I'm just having a shit time. And now I feel like she's scraped so much, probably just off my actual teeth, that my tongue keeps catching this, like what now feels like a shelf in the inside of my mouth. So I'm fucking miserable, you know. But at least everyone knows now I've got a brain infection. I don't have a brain infection. I may well get a brain infection. I've been told by my dentist, who wasn't my friend, you know, but that's where we're at. And that's just distracted me. So anyway, did I start listeners' questions or did I go off on a tangent?
Didn't make it that far.
Fuck's sake. Anyway, listeners' questions. Naomi Mitchell has said, unpopular opinion, but pasta is better than pizza. Stick your meat feast Domino's up your hole. Aggressive. That is very aggressive. I must say I don't really like Domino's. You know me, Ben. I'm a man who likes the better quality food. I look like and I behave like Luciano Pavarotti. You know, I like that. And when it comes to my Italian food, I like to try and have the best. Same with my Mexican. That's why I recommend Bebe Adrianos rather than any other stupid place with people with septum piercings and green hair calling me man bro dude. You know, fuck that. Give me nice food and that's all I want. And the same with my pizzas. Now I must say I am a big fan of pasta. Probably, if it's like, this is the thing, if pasta's done well, it's nicer than pizza, I think. You know, like if you're in a restaurant, you get a really good, like say you get a real nice seafood pasta, there's nothing better. You know, really fresh seafood, nice bit of cream, garlic, boof, delicious. Whereas pizzas, there's only so much you can do with pizza. Pizza's always pizza. You can get a nice pizza, you know. And other than that, like, what's the nicest pizza? Is there anywhere you'd recommend?
The pizzas?
Mm-hmm.
4 stars pretty good.
Well, I mean, you're a brand guy. Everything I've just said there about supporting local business, Ben's just gone, fuck that. I support the conglomerates. I'm getting behind him. He's actually wearing a MAGA hat. He supports Trump. Big up the Trump squad. Yeah, 4 stars, all right. It's better than DOM. So that's Domino's I spelled there. I definitely agree with that. In Bangor, I still haven't found a pizzeria that I can stand over and recommend the way I can stand over Bebe Adrianos. But what I will say, and again, this is not sponsorship, this is just honest opinion, the best pizzeria I've ever experienced is here in Hollywood, and it's Pizzini. So big shout out to them. And I'm going to literally have a Pizzini for my dinner, and my online fitness coach John Joe can suck the back of my dick and probably get at me. Luckily I will be losing weight this week, but anyway. Jamie Harrison has said, hello David, would you rather never shower for a year and also never wipe your bum, or do a bungee jump? Many thanks. That's easy. I hate heights. Like, I hate heights. I'm terrified. But there's, you know what I hate more than heights? Having an itchy hole. So for sure, I would, I would just do the bungee jump. I'd have to ensure that, like, the weight restriction on the bungee jump would have to, like, hold like half a ton, like the Big Show or Sumo wrestler, to make sure I don't die. Or when I do the bungee jump, then my wee legs don't dislocate because I'm a hefty man. But I just think the pain of having an itchy arse and not being able to deal with it would be too much. Do you ever have an itchy arse, Ben?
No, not since I was very young.
Very young, being what, 25?
About that.
Yeah, sweet. No, I think that it's definitely a problem. Like sometimes, like I'm a man who, again, I take a lot of care of my teeth. Well, so I thought until I got totally schooled by a hygienist. But maybe I need to go and see a doctor about my anus. Maybe that's something to do. Maybe he can get out there with his nail and scratch my arsehole and say, show me how to clean my ass properly. Maybe that, like, as far as I'm aware, I don't think that there's any right or wrong way to correctly clean your asshole. Am I right in saying? Like, way you can go to a hygienist and they can scratch your teeth and tell you how to clean your teeth. I don't think there's any, like, specialist doctor that's like an anus master. Like, I mean, that would be a great name for a doctor. Like, you're a doctor, you're a consultant, you're like a pediatrician, what else are you? Oh, I'm an anus master. I am. What do you master in? Well, the anus. Like, ailments of the anus, like any sort of colonic no, just the cleanliness of the anus. I have, like, he just has a bidet on site, and then maybe some wet wipes, and just just the full works. Because again, a lot of the time, if you're just wiping shit off your ass with toilet paper, you could do with a wee bit of moisture in there, and I mean, it's not always practical to spit in your hand and wipe your arsehole with it. I mean, sometimes if it's all you've got. And again, I wouldn't be a big advocate of putting baby wipes down a toilet. So what I would say to do is maybe just wipe your bum with the baby wipe, then maybe put the baby wipe in your pocket and just find a bin and put it in. I don't know. But again, I think, like, in our culture over here with global warming, we should definitely consider erecting more bidets about the place. Maybe even public bidets. They have got those wee drinking fountains. Maybe just have public bidets as well. Or if you don't have a public bidets and you want to be like, a protester or like an Antifa type, stand up and fight for your rights, what I'd say to do is maybe start using water fountains as bidets in public. Yeah, a few people to begin with will raise eyebrows. But again, if Rosa Parks hadn't sat where she wanted in that bus, black people still wouldn't be allowed on buses. So what I'm saying is, if you don't want to rinse your anus with a water fountain, maybe it'll just never be accepted in society to have a clean asshole. But Jamie, thanks for that. I would rather do a bungee jump because I feel strongly about having a clean asshole. If any of you guys out there are anal masters, let me know. Be keen to find out. Rory Woods has said, what is your opinion on the air fryer? I don't know what an air fryer is. Do you?
So three things that basically bake your food, so you don't put any oil or anything on them.
And what do they do?
Well, you put your potatoes or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you put it in, and it just heats it up and turns them around.
Into like a wee pie?
No, just cooks.
Do you have one?
I had one.
Right, I'll make a deal. I'll come to your door, I'll knock a door, I'll say a prayer for someone that's dead in your house, and you can just give me something from your air fryer. Sounds like a good deal. But no, I'm definitely going to try out an air fryer. I'm interested in it. If we had internet in this studio, which we're getting, by the way, because I know you love to watch your wee football and stuff when you record a podcast, and that's on my note on his report card for end of term, stop watching football. But yeah, we'll maybe get on and watch an instructional video of how to use the air fryer. Mark Beggs has said, good morning, Papa Pump. When is the appropriate time to put a Christmas tree up? Also, what will be in Santa's big brown sack for me this Christmas? Something from Wayfair. I want a new cabinet from Wayfair from Santa this year. No, only joking. I actually have asked again, this is the annoying thing about my wife. I love her to bits, but she just ignores me, everything I say. For my birthday, which was like a month ago, I had picked a really nice jacket. It was an Arsenal jacket. It was Adidas, all red. Even the Arsenal crest was red. So it was subtle. I could have worn it on stage. It was that good. Could have worn the podcast. I made it very clear that's what I wanted. And you're like, how do I make it clear? You give wee hints and stuff. I said to her, see that jacket that's on my computer screen there? I want it. I'll send you the link. She went dead on, sent her a link. Didn't get me the jacket. So I want that again. I want some AirPods, but then she was like, you'll just lose the AirPods. So I went, okay, I'll probably not get AirPods. So what I'll probably get this year is whatever the fuck she wants to give me, whether I want it or not. And I told my parents that I wanted their house. Basically, I said I would like my inheritance before you die, and then whenever you do die, I will ask some wee fucking weirdo from my street to come and pray for you at my front door. Luther Valentine, very sexy name, has said Subway of choice for me: meatball, cheese, toasted obviously, lettuce, red onion, tomato, olive, jalapeno, which is of course jalapeno, and a slab of ranch on honey oat, wee cookie to boot. Must be a 12-incher. Discuss, please. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to Subway, you don't want anything less than 12 inches. You know, like sometimes when I'm hungry, I have to sell for a 9 inch, and they don't even have 9 inches in Subway. You know, work that one out. But for me, my Subway of choice. Do you know your Subway of choice, Ben? If I were to,
No,
you know, Subway guy.
not really.
As in, have you ever had a Subway?
Yeah.
And were you just not keen on it?
It's a sandwich.
Yeah, but you've got it wrong. I will come. We will make a video for Patreon. We will go to Subway. It'll be like, you know when those guys do videos and they're all like blind, like little blind kids and all, and they're like, oh, I can't see. And then some like creepy doctor from America comes over and puts these glasses on. They're like, I can see. Or else they're deaf. I can hear. That's what it's going to be like when I bring you a Subway and get you a proper Subway. Whenever I bring you in a Subway and deliver you the 12 inches, you'll be happy. But my Subway choice is 12 inches, Italian herbs and cheese. It's a chicken and bacon ranch. So you get your chicken, your bacon, boom. On top of that, you get regular cheese, but you say, excuse me, sir, like double cheese. Put an extra bit of cheese on that. Then stick it in the toaster, of course, because if you don't get it toasted, you're mentally unwell. They pull that out. They say, what do you want in that? I say, I want some lettuce. I want some onions. And sometimes, if I'm feeling pretty frisky, I'll get those wee gherkins on, but that's only if I'm feeling frisky or very hungover. Then I'll say, bit of Southwest sauce. Now I will stop them because sometimes they saturate in Southwest sauce. Like you could make a sketch about someone working in Subway and it'd be like just put it all together and then just go shh, like hose it. That would be a great sketch. Just hose it all down with the sauce. I just say I want the line. And then they give me a bit of Coke, sniff that, and I say a bit of Southwest sauce, but also just a line of Southwest sauce, please. Too much ruins the flavour, you know what I mean? I'm all about flavours. So that is my Subway, and normally that would be if I'm hungover, which isn't really anymore because I don't drink, because I'm apparently on some sort of like watch list with a PSN. I have a drink, whatever, fuck's sake. Gareth Jordan said, what's your favourite video game and why is it Metal Gear Solid for the PS1? Gareth, it isn't Metal Gear Solid for the PS1, and why it isn't is because I'm not a fucking nerd virgin loser. My favourite PlayStation game ever, or just game ever, probably, you know, I'm going to say San Andreas. Is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, where it was like gangster, because I was into gangster rapping all the time. It was in LA. I like the game. Have you played it?
Yeah.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah.
Did you like it more? Did you like Vice City more? Oh, what's your favourite Grand Theft Auto game? Grand Theft Auto 5? Can't
really remember them, to be honest.
Did you just say to me there, generally, I mean, hopefully we can get the audio sorted, I just can't remember anything.
No, I can't.
I was like, all of a sudden, he's just had a real moment, like an aneurysm over there. Honestly, I can't remember anything. No?
I can't remember.
What sort of games did you play? You're just a FIFA man, aren't you?
Yeah, any open world game's pretty good.
Which is just all the Grand Theft Auto games. Do you like Tomb Raider ever? Like original Tomb Raider I liked back in the day.
Probably the PS1.
I liked also like GoldenEye on the N64. It was pretty dope. I used to like wrestling games back in the day. SmackDown versus Raw, pretty good. I think actually wasn't the original. What was the original one called before it was all SmackDown? It was like Unforgiven or something. But it was just a really good old wrestling game. Whenever you could cut people, I enjoyed that. Because again, you know, people are like, if you do stuff in video games, you're going to do it in real life. And like, what's weird about that is you're hanging around with a gorilla, a dinosaur, a mushroom, and a fucking guy with a really small head. So I mean, you're not going to do that in real life. So why if I cut somebody in a wrestling ring when they're wearing pants, I'm going to do that in real life? Get over it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's hard to pick my favourite all-time game. You know, that is tough. There's too many good games. I'd probably say the most joy I ever got from a game was, yeah, probably San Andreas. I'd say I used to enjoy FIFA, but I fucking hate it. Jamie Blobby said, cheers for the complete mug off in the podcast last week. You really are one sly bastard. You're welcome. Dara Conlon said, hola Davey. On Halloween night, multiple kids decided to break the COVID restrictions and trick or treat. Do we see next Tuesdays? Oh, we're quick to turn whenever I kneecap the child dressed as Trump. But anyway, how was your Halloween? Listen, I think we covered Halloween there quite rightly. I hope, again, because this is the politically fair podcast, you went out and found somebody that looked like Joe Biden and shot them as well. I mean, obviously, if you're going to kneecap a child dressed as Trump, that's fair enough. I would say, you know, if you're not going to find a kid that looks like Biden, you're just going to have to shoot a pensioner. But hopefully, you have done that, following from that in the interest of fairness. Matthew Sterrett has said, Did anything go wrong on your wedding day? We got married during a heat wave and my wife fainted just after the photos and missed most of the day. Now, I like what you're doing there, Matt, because maybe your wife listens to this podcast, but what you're saying is that she fainted and missed most of the day. You haven't said that anything went wrong on your wedding day. You're just saying that she fainted and missed most of the day, which is win-win. You've got married, it's in the bag, she goes to sleep, and you just get a blitz on with your mates. That's what I did at my wedding. I mean, I didn't actually do that. I hung about with my wife most of the time. But then when I got a window of opportunity, I did leave. I went out to the back and behind the venue. Maybe I did some things that were illegal. Maybe I didn't, All I'm saying is I felt pretty loose afterwards. And yeah, I need to take Imodium for a few days. Let's just leave it at that. But no, nothing really went wrong on my wedding day. But what actually was something that I don't think I've actually mentioned before. On a podcast, there's a true story. When I was getting married, obviously, as tradition would have it, you're a man. You stand at the altar and wait for your wife to come. And as time goes by, you get a little bit nervous. You get a little bit like, oh no, this is a bit worrying. Hopefully she'll show. That's fine. I get a bit nervous. Not actually at this point, nephew, but he's my nephew now because I'm married in, came up to me, 9 years old, and he said to me, my father-in-law would be, it's called Norman, right? So he comes up to me and he goes, you know why she's late? And I went, no, Ethan, why is she late? And she goes, because Norman's at home polishing his Prince Albert, and then just walked away. Obviously, a 9-year-old didn't know what Prince Albert was. I looked across, see Catherine's brothers just pissing themselves because obviously I told this 9-year-old that their fucking dad's at home polishing his Prince Albert. And the funny thing about it was only after the speeches and the drinks that I actually spoke to Norman. He was like, actually genuinely was doing that. Couldn't find a brasso anywhere, but he got it. He shined his Prince Albert. He got it out for everyone to kiss because it's a weird family tradition, and we got married, and that was great. Michael Kerr said, hey Dave, I'm sure you know at this time the podcast comes out, the US polls will be in. Assuming this is recorded before the results, what are your predictions? You know what? I'm going to say Trump will win. I feel like it's just something that you can't predict, but I'm doing it because I think he'll win. I feel like the common sense would say Biden should probably win because of how divided everyone's been with Trump, but I feel like 2020 is just a gift that keeps on giving. Trump's going to win, the gates of hell will open, and we'll have a bit more banter about it. Chris Kavanagh, Papa Spera, congrats on your anniversary to the King of North Down Municipality. Well, that's easy to say. I was recently having a stupid argument with one of my mates over something that happened years ago, and we still bring it up to this day. It was only stupid because he's completely wrong though. Got me thinking, do you have any grievances and or beef that pops a pulsating vein in your head every now and then, either with your wife or one of your mates? P.S. I'm spreading your sly seed all over Denmark. Hey, you and Krampus both, my friend. Is there anything that really annoys me about my mates? Just Shane and Boytown, really. And that's, anytime I think of that, I think fuck him, finish with that dick. But no, other than that, I don't really, nah. I'm pretty alright. I still get annoyed about certain things, like Shelby's in Hollywood. Thankfully that's shut now. Really stressing me out and annoying me. But no, nothing in particular. Normally I squash a lot of beef, and again, whenever you are the king of the mountain, it is very rare that you're wrong. So, that's where we're at with that. Johnny Maxwell, did Shane Todd steal Paddy Raff's Nigel at BT9 shtick with Mike McGoldrick? What I'm going to say about that is Shane's been doing Mike McGoldrick for far too long, probably fucking 10 years or something, and as Paddy Raff keeps saying, he's just been doing comedy for 2 years. So unless Shane's devised some sort of time machine, I'm not going to think he stole that character. And to be fair, both characters are very different. I don't think there's any kind of similarities between both characters, who are posh, obnoxious, hang out with local celebrities, and are just basic. They're similar, they're very similar. But I don't think Shane stole that. Maybe it was just what's that word called, Ben? Parallel thinking, perhaps, from Shane's point of view, after he used the time machine, because he's been doing it for far longer. But I don't want to go into that any further and risk being the victim of legal action and by any way, because again, it's very common in the Northern Irish comedy scene to threaten other comedians with legal action if you don't like what they're saying. String Ninjas have said all shares will be repaid with a legitous hug. Fucking use English, would you, bollocks? When it's medically safe to do so. Yes, String Ninjas have a podcast, guys. Check that out. Again, if you ever send me a podcast question to plug your own podcast, you will be cast aside and you will be forced to kiss the brassoed ring of my father-in-law's Prince Albert. Alright, and I mean, you may enjoy that, and it is a treat to a lot of people, but anyway. Kenty has said, hello Big Daddy, what size are your feet? Size 12, thanks for asking. Kim Bryce, she's an honorary Sly Hard here. Why are you so funny? Listen, a gift from God. I've been put in this earth like Jesus, but for a different reason, not to forgive your sins, because I mean, who gives a shit? I'm here to make you laugh. Christopher Porter said, thanks for the Spy Guy last week, Dave. I did try to get my girlfriend to do an impression, but she's camera shy. I would play the video. You sent me a very funny video of your girlfriend saying fuck's sake, which to be fair, she needs to work on, but it wouldn't pick up in the podcast, so couldn't play. But your question for this week is, you seem to be a fantastic singer. I am. But have you ever been told you look like you've been separated at birth from musician John Garrity? And could that maybe explain your musical talents? No, I've been separated from birth from Luciano Pavarotti. And I am him in another life. So, and he is also a good singer, but I am better. Andy Lee said, good evening, Papa Dave. Hope all is going well at the Elliott household with the new baby. My question tonight comes from years of thought and debate amongst bacon fans. Are you a red sauce or a brown sauce man on your bacon bap? And it's considered to be treason to be able to have either red or brown sauce and change between. Loving the podcast as always. It's been an amazing escape for me in the last few weeks as I sadly lost my grandpa a couple of weeks ago. And thank you for bringing joy back into this difficult time. Well, I appreciate it. And again, obviously sorry for the loss of your grandpa. Andy, if you would be prepared to make me maybe a cheese and onion slice, I could come to your door and pray for him if that's something that would make you feel better. Or if you just want to call me Granda, you can do so. But for me, you know what? I think it's 2020. We shouldn't be forced into partisan lines. Sometimes I fancy a bit of brown in my bap, sometimes I fancy red sauce, sometimes I put barbecue sauce in a bap, and I know that is pretty sacrilegious, but that's sometimes what happens. So I think, listen, man, thank you for your kind words, and just you do you. If you're in the mood for a bit of brown sauce, have brown sauce. If you're in the mood for red sauce, red it up, my friend. But whatever, just keep eating bacon sandwiches. They're good for the heart. 8-star said, I heard rumours the reason Boytown boring ended was because Shane's basically the Ellen DeGeneres of the Northern Irish comedy scene and made people's lives in the workplace hell. Is this true, Ben? Is that true?
I'm not allowed to comment.
Okay, it's legal because, again, as I said earlier, people in the Northern Irish comedy scene take legal action against people. Now Halloween's gone, when does the tree go up? If your tree goes up before December, you should be cast onto a hulk and sent to the ocean to die. Alright, so anyone that puts it up before December is sacrilegious and a piece of shit. Guys, speaking of pieces of shit, that's the end of this podcast. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already rated and reviewed the podcast, please do. If you haven't already checked out the sponsors, that's Bebe, Adrianos and Bangor. Definitely recommend. Get in the car, get down, get to the Gold Coast and enjoy what is genuinely the best burrito you're going to put in your mouth hole anytime. Same with Modest Beer. Delicious beers. They've got variations. If you're Scottish, get it in India. And also if you're not Scottish, who cares? Tastes good. And here, listen, I hate pubes. Shave them. See you next week.
I'm the sly guy.